What's up? Today I'm going to go over the release notes for Area 0 0.18.0 release. So finally, all of the brothers' animations are fully color mapped. So I think last time I was just missing their command normals, and now they are fully colored. So for Christopher here, his back heavy punch, his down forward heavy punch, and his forward heavy kick are fully color mapped. And for Michael, back heavy punch, down forward heavy kick, and his dive kick. So that's down while airborne and heavy kick. They're all fully color mapped. Item 2, I changed Michael's haircut. So I went through all of his animations and gave him this kind of mohawk look rather than just a straightforward buzz cut. Let's see. Item 3, updated the low-level bindings. So pretty much pulled up on the latest releases, including Vulcan's latest iteration. Let's see. Item 4, adjusted collision for Violet, BPV, Victor, and Niven. So let me bring up a couple of those characters. So Victor and Violet. So while I was playtesting at the weekly fighting game local, it was looking a little bit, let's see. So when the characters were jumping and colliding, there was a bit too much space between the characters. It looked artificial, or it looked strange. So I have gone through and I have narrowed their airborne collision boxes. So they're just a little bit slimmer so that when they collide, it hopefully looks like it actually looks like they're actually making contact rather than having some type of strange empty space between the characters. That was item 4. Item 5, character stat hint added to the UI of character select. So if you go to any character select, I finally got around to adding a hint. So if you look at Victor's rear foot, you'll see there's a hint there telling you that if you hit that button, you'll be able to pull up character stats and get kind of an idea of maybe how that character will play. And you also get information on their taunt bonus. Let's see. So item 6, Violet and Niven's super attacks no longer linger after a mark has been assigned. Alright, so what that means is if I go to versus and let's just focus on Niven.
Violet.
So these two characters in particular, their supers function somewhat differently. Violet has a projectile super which acts independently of player inputs, and Niven's, his super, which let me just start building meter, it will either expire because of a time limit or because of the number of hits being exhausted. Well, the issue is that when you defeat an opponent with the super and you assign them a mark, which we're about to now, what could happen is that by the time they're knocked down and the time they get back up, your super could still be active between quote-unquote rounds. So hopefully we'll demonstrate here that if we defeat her with the super, when she hits the ground, the super ends. So it's just a precaution to prevent a super from lingering from one round to the next round. I say round in quotation marks because there's not really rounds in this game. Okay, let's see. Item 7. I addressed an issue that was exposed by Nvidia's October driver update. So it was version 5.65.90. Anyways, the issue is that, well, something changed in the driver, and it affected my software, which is not a good thing because I have no control over what's going to happen in the driver. I've made some adjustments. Pretty much the short of it is that I was depending on Vulkan to give me a, well, I don't know if there's a simple way to explain it, but either way, if you did notice this issue in the last release, it involved like hit sparks would stop making sound effects after a certain while, and that was because of I was depending on the driver to report back to me something that it no longer reports back. So I was not releasing resources, and after a while those resources were exhausted and you could no longer get sound effects on like the hit sparks. But anyways, that is no longer an issue, and hopefully it will not be an issue going forward, and I will not be vulnerable to driver updates. Item 8, I tuned Michael. So a few releases back, I reduced his meter gain rate from 90 to 70. After taking it and having it play tested, it was too difficult for him to gain meter, so I undid that, and to compensate for that, I reduced the damage of his airborne kicks and reduced the damage of his air special attack. And I think that pretty much it balances out, restoring him gaining meter more quickly. Item 9, real simple. Victor's EX dash punch is slightly reduced in damage. So his EX dash punch before, you could get into some loops and it was too easy to gain meter in such a loop. So you could do this. Oh, anyways, that loop of like forward heavy kick, EX dash punch, you were able to get one more iteration of that, and or one more cycle of that, and reducing the damage prevents that. So that's what item 9 is. Item 10, tweaked Richard's default color palette. So if we go back and exit, this is real simple, but I'll just show you real quick. The idea is for this game to map onto reality but not actually represent reality. And well, Victor is some form of law enforcement, and when his default color, so you can see here, he's still got the blue and he's still got the patches and the stripe on his pants, but I've changed that to like this white color rather than a gold or a yellow color. And like I was saying, it's not supposed to represent reality, but it's supposed to be a mapping onto reality. And he's some form of law enforcement, but hopefully this doesn't make him look like, oh, he's just a cop, like from our world. He's some form of law enforcement of some type of world that hopefully maps onto things I want to talk about in our world. But anyways, that was the motivation, and super simple change, but that's it. And I think that was everything. Yes. So thank you, as always, to our patrons. I, as always, greatly appreciate your continued support, and I hope you enjoy these changes. There's a lot of, now that I've kind of wrapped up the animation work on the new characters, the brothers Michael and Christopher, I'll be able to return to working on software again, which should mean improvements, new features, and all sorts of good stuff. So stay tuned, and thank you again for your support.